All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started this morning. I have quite a bit of information that I want to pass along to you. So if our sponsor gets here, we will let them talk for a minute. The Texas Roof Shield is supposed to be bringing us breakfast this morning, and they've got some unique things. So we'll see if they're able to show up. Jamal was supposed to be on his way, but I watched my text messages, so we'll see how that goes. Announcements. Next week, I've got James K. Roofing and Solar coming in. They have been with us once before, and I've used them. One of my clients used them and had a really good experience. So, and I think this is Jenna's.
Yeah, Jenna
uses James K. The backside has been updated. You haven't been on the backside in a while. I encourage you to go look. Down at the bottom of the page, it says index. All of our links have been alphabetized. Yeah, I took a little time and did that this last week. So it's down at the bottom. That way you can go and find something that you're looking for if you know what it's called. I'm also thinking about putting up an FAQ, like the questions that I get asked over and over again, and putting those up there and just having a place where the questions would be there. But I'm still toying with that idea. Does anybody read the Monday night emails?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Just making sure. Because a lot of times we get asked questions that I've answered in the Monday night email, and so would love for you guys to at least skim it. I figured the new reading, I always try to put new stuff there, things that are important on the good reads, I think is what I call it, on the Monday night email. Okay, so it's worthy of my time for y'all getting that information. I'm seeing you shaking heads. Okay, yes. Good. Supra, as of tomorrow, will have shared access, Supra access with Tyler. I know it's really good if you work East Texas a lot because there's people coming out of Tyler. Having Supra access to their boxes is huge.
What all do we have now?
Waco, Temple Belton, Greater Fort Worth, and anything in the Metroplex is going to work because it's through Metrotex or Greater Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. But having access to Tyler will be another thing. And I hope that it's a crossroads of bringing Tyler into Metrotex and Greater Fort Worth.
Yeah,
into Netris. Mm-hmm. They need to be in Netris.
Yeah, they do.
Because it's Tyler's website. They use antiquated software. It's next week, Victoria is going to be here in person. She and I have been talking, and Jenny have been talking, and she's going to join us about once a month in person from now on. And so she'll be here to answer questions, but she's going to walk us through a rechat transaction next week. Let me fill up the chat because I see things popping up here and I'm not sure if somebody. Oh, now I hear Jen. Okay, that's fine. Oh, people are just joining. Okay. So next week, Victoria, and then don't forget, Dosen is there. Are you enjoying it? Yeah. Okay. So until we can do 100 Days to Greatness, which is I think is the basic way of doing this job, Docent does, I think, a very good job of explaining the simple stuff you don't learn in school. Mm-hmm. So experienced agents, I would encourage you to go through it. A couple things hit my brain when I went through it. I was like, oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. That's a good way to do that. Mm-hmm. So Docent is there for you guys. Okay. Well, now, okay, let's do it that way. Don't forget, Cuba Casa is now available on your cell phone, Android and iPhone. If you're not using it, highly encourage you using that on your listings.
Is it free?
It's free.
Has anybody used it yet?
Oh, I've been using it for 2 years.
And
that's what it looks like.
Is it super easy because
you open it up, it locates where you are. You say, I'm at 123 Main Street. It says that's the house. Start thing, and it pulls up a camera, and you walk through the house. And what you do is you go and you just like this, walk like this around every wall of everything.
Oh, wow.
Open the doors to the closet, show them the back of the closet, do like this. When you get too close to something, it'll be red and it'll say too close. You back up, it'll put in, this is one that I took of one of my listings. It shows every window, every door, the fireplace, and then you can also get this with measurements.
I like that. So how long does it take to get it though? Like you
sometimes 4 hours, sometimes 24 hours.
Wow, that's really good.
And they just send you an email.
And what does it cost to actually get the work plan?
Nothing. It's just free. It's part of the great work.
What?
Yeah. It needs to be. It needs to be done on every listing, and you can do it yourself. What I do is I say that when you get the email from Cuba Casa, you get a PDF and a JPG. So you can use the JPG, put it in your listing photos,
Yeah.
and put the PDF and transaction list.
Awesome.
So this is free. It's at Cubicasa. It's in the link from Monday night's email. Please go download Cubicasa. This week we're going to hit mission and vision. We haven't done that in 3 months. So our core purpose, what we do, we help people find and create a home that feels like them. Our mission, why we do what we do, is we create homes, build community, it's real estate with soul. Our vision, where we're going, to encourage homeownership and make all components of the residential real estate process, design, brokerage, construction, and full and outdoor, easier, more accessible, and more enjoyable than ever before. We accomplish this by providing access to the best one-stop shop real estate experience across the state of Texas, curating a team of experts that provide unparalleled quality, value, and customer service. We take extreme ownership of both the success and failure of any project and role we are tasked with. That is our vision. I wanted to hit these because I think it's important that we have the 14 core values and we see those every week, and I give you one and we talk about it. But seeing the big picture of the vision of what we really want 6 Ave Homes to be is important to encourage the home ownership, make sure that all the components of how we do this are fulfilled, and providing the best access to the one-stop shop experience. Because literally the one-stop shop is our extreme advantage. Nobody else has design and pool and outdoor and construction from the roof. Nobody. We're it. To that end, Kayla?
Yeah. Here I am.
This is Kayla East. Kayla is our
Hey guys.
principal designer. And I pulled your picture. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
That's the right one.
Eyes.
Oh, thanks. That's when I first started working here, and I don't fit into that dress anymore.
All right. So Kayla has got a little thing that we're going to do here. And so I'm going to let her go through her stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna do like a series essentially of like LB, myself, Jeff coming in every couple of weeks and just like talking about different elements of our job and how that impacts you, or just like education on what we do and how we do it. So I thought for the first session, we would just talk about what the heck we offer. What services does design do? What does that look like? What is included? And just kind of like go over the basics of that. And then the next couple of times we meet, we can talk through like, here's a project I'm actually working on, or here's how we interact with clients, or, you know, anything like that, anything you want to see. So first, I just put this little presentation together just as an easy way to showcase what we do and kind of what goes into that. So why it matters, I mean, you can read this, but essentially the reason that we're in design, or the reason that I'll speak for myself, the reason that I became a designer is because I really like the idea of like helping people. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy and weird. You're like, you're a designer, how are you helping? But the background and the heart behind that is like, people have such a hard time envisioning what they want their home to feel and look like. And I have a ability to help them figure that out. And there's a lot of psychology that goes into designing your space. There's a lot of color theory. There's a lot of feeling and emotions involved. There's sentimentality involved with the things that you have. And so when someone is in a space that doesn't feel like them, or doesn't feel homey, or doesn't make them feel safe, well, then they don't feel safe in turn. So long-winded explanation of that is just, I have the opportunity to help people feel safe and feel like themselves in their own home. And that's the goal. And I love getting to do that. That's one of the perks of our job. So that's why we do it, from anything from a tiny bathroom remodel to a literal whole home ground up new build. We do all of that. This is just going to go through like all of the services that we actually provide. So if we go through, first, it's kind of going to go from like lowest to highest in a way. So design of the day is our most basic service we offer. This is a 3-hour consultation with one of our designers. You sit in this sunroom, you tell us what you need, and we give you advice. That's pretty much what it is. Sometimes we'll pick some certain things out if you're like, I need help picking out a wallpaper that's blue and purple. We're like, okay, here's a wallpaper that we like. You know, we could do that too, but it's mostly giving you direction. It's pretty much for people who are like, I can do this on my own, I just don't know where to start. And you're like, okay, great, here's where to start. And you give them like kind of a guidebook essentially as to how you're going to accomplish this. It's very low maintenance, it takes very little time, and there's not really a lot of deliverables after that. It's just a meeting, picking our brain, giving you guidance and advice on how to move forward.
What is that a cost, obviously?
Oh, yeah, these all have costs associated. Design a day is a flat fee of, I believe we might have changed it. It was 300, it might be 500 now, because inflation. But yeah, it is a flat fee, and it's a one-time payment. We also have a bunch of these like handouts in the office as well. If you wanted to get like a actual page that has more information on it as well, I can give that to you. Design only is our next service. This is exactly how it sounds. It is only design. We are not talking about floor plans. We are not talking about moving walls. We are not talking about renovating any like big spaces. We are talking about design selections for the space. What this looks like is a normal process, our normal process with the designer, where you have a kickoff meeting. Then we have a storyboard meeting. And I'll tell you all about what that is in our next session. But we'll have multiple meetings where we get to know the client, understand their design vision, understand their direction, understand the scope of the work we are doing. Are we painting the cabinets? Are we getting new countertops? Are we getting new lighting? Are we painting the walls? Like all of these things we kind of figure out. And then we provide them this little graphic here is a design board. And so basically that is the guide to what we are doing in the space. We also will provide them a finish schedule. So pretty much anything after design in a day, you get a lot more deliverables for. The deliverables for the Design Classic is the design boards and the finish schedule. Finish schedule is this gigantic Excel sheet that has literally everything you would need to execute the project. You don't even need our team to do it. It says, here's where you go buy your tile, here's your paint color, here's the sheen, here's the grout color, has everything you need. We use that too. So it's our Bible.
And that's called a what?
A finish schedule. And I can also show you examples of that as well. When we go through like an actual project we've worked on, I'll show you every single one of these elements. So that
and
you
you
can
provide
see.
that for clients to just go buy it and do
Yeah. So
like a DIYer.
yeah, I mean, pretty much any of our services can be used without our construction team. That's the point. And obviously our job is to feed construction, but not everyone can hire our team. We're not the cheapest, and I would say we are the best, but that's just my biased opinion. But yeah, we basically operate as a silo, and our goal is to provide our clients with documentation that they can execute themselves, or we can take to our team and execute. Oh,
Hi. Yeah. Hi. Can you guys hear me?
yeah.
Okay. So on the design only, when a client already has an architect and they're just design challenged, or
Yep.
you said need help with the vision or, the feeling. So how many, and maybe you said this and I missed it. How many meetings is that like a per room? Is it per project? How does that work?
Good question. So any of our projects are going to start with a meetup, and that's going to be done with LB. So LB will go to a project and she'll talk with the client and they'll say, hey, I want to redo my kitchen and my bathroom. She'll say, great. She'll send them a scope of work. She'll send them the game plan. She'll send them a proposal. And if they want to move forward, we'll say, awesome. Now you're in my hands. I will take you now. And then we will have a kickoff meeting. We'll have a storyboard meeting. And then we have 3 revisions included. Now, do you need to use all 3 of those? No. Our goal is to get it done on revision 1 so that we keep moving. Some clients need multiple times to be able to decide what they want to do. Some clients change their mind midway through. So that's why we offer those revisions. Then we'll have a final meeting if we're doing a construction so that our construction team can actually see and hear from our team what we're doing. But yeah, so I would say 3 meetings minimum with up to 5. I think I'm doing that math right. 5 or 6, just depends on the scope and what they need. But if you tell us the scope at the beginning, we'll design for that entire scope. So if you said bathroom and kitchen, we're going to give you design for bathroom and kitchen. It's not just like focusing on one room at a time. We're going to do the entire scope that you've asked us to in one go. Does that help answer your question?
It does. It does a lot. It's just that some of these projects are like phase work projects. Like we're going to start with, living room, dining room, and that'll take a couple weeks. And then we'll move into bedroom, bathroom, closet, and then we're going to circle back to the kitchen. So and when you're not working with 6th Ave, your construction, how do y'all communicate, or do you even communicate with the GC or oversee any of the project?
Great question. We do have a couple of clients who do things in phases. Your neighbors are a perfect example of this, Patty. They did a different service, but we'll use them as an example. So we did their primary bathroom and laundry room remodel. So we did the design, we did the floor plans, and we did the construction. However, they know they're going to do their kitchen at some point. So we know they're going to come back to us when they're ready, and we're going to start the design of their kitchen. A lot of the time, we like to design everything at one go and then let the client break off what they want to do at that time. So if they said, we're going to do, let's use the bathroom and the kitchen example again. I want to do the bathroom and I want to do the kitchen, but I only want to remodel the kitchen right now. And in 6 months, I want to remodel my bathroom. We're going to say, hey, why don't we just knock out both? Why don't we give you the design for both? And then whenever you're ready, you can execute on whichever one you want to execute on. So that's the phase answer. As far as the working with other GCs answer, no. We don't work in tandem with any other construction company besides ours. What happens is we give them those design boards and that finish schedule, and that is everything they need to be successful. And it has proven to be successful. We've had multiple projects where we've given them those deliverables and they've asked us maybe 1 or 2 questions. And what will happen is a client will say, hey, I don't see the stain color on the finish schedule. Can you tell me what to do? And we'll say, yeah, sure. Here's your stain samples. Go get them. Or they'll say, hey, we're doing this project and the tile you picked is discontinued. And they'll say, totally hear you. We'll pick a new tile, because that's not their fault that it's discontinued. So we like to have that type of communication, but we're not quality control checking. We're not on site. We're not ordering. We're not doing any of that because we weren't paid to do that. Our service is to get you from your kickoff meeting to your design deliverables, and that's it for design. Now, if you're in construction, that's a different story, but we'll go over that in another service.
How much was the?
Everything past design in a day is going to be based on square footage. So it's going to be a cost per square foot. LB will break that out. I'm not 100% on all of the numbers for that because it is a very complicated formula, which is why LB does it and I don't. But it is based on the square footage of the scope of work that we're doing. Floor plans only is also exactly how it sounds. This is just floor plans. This is what I do. So my job is floor plans. That's like my bread and butter. So if you do have a client that they're like, I can design it, I don't need help, or I already have a designer, or I have a builder and I just need help looking at this plan, they'll come to me. I'm going to be doing all of that for them. Basically, it's just doing their plans. That's like literally as simple as it sounds. So if they said, I want to add square footage onto my home, but I have a design team and I have a builder, I don't need your team. We're like, okay, great. And I'll draw all the plans for them. I'll give them a construction set so that their builder can execute that properly. If there are any questions, same thing with the design. During permitting or during construction, if their team has a question for me, I will answer it, but I won't be on site. I won't be checking the work. I won't be physically there, but I'll be available to answer questions because I want to make sure that it goes right. Custom design. Now, this is, as you can see, our most used service. This is what we.
Can I pause you going back on that?
Oh, yeah, please.
I would just to brag on Kayla a little bit. If one, she works with construction all the time, and as someone who's hired architects, a lot of times architects don't know construction. Like they know how to build and design stuff, but I just hired architects in the past, and they just design really expensive things. And architects also are way more expensive than.
Oh yeah.
But because you're not like a licensed architect.
No, I'm not a licensed architect. You
Well,
can't call me that.
But I would argue like our floor plans are just.
I would agree with you.
So we'll take like 10, 15, 20 grand for a set of plans, cleaning it up for a fraction of the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And off the pasture. And I would say like you're really good at working within the budget.
Yeah.
And great, they're great. There's great architects, great architects. But they can get very precious with their ideas and get really, really expensive because they're so disconnected with the actual.
Absolutely. We've actually had clients come to us, and I did not say it because I didn't want to sound boastful, but since you brought it up, I'll go ahead. But we have had clients come to us and say, we hired this architect, they did me dirty, and like we need help. And they will give me their plans, and I'm like, oh no, like this was bad. And so we've had, I think, probably 5 in the last year, people come to us and say, here's the plans that we were given, can you fix them? Or we'll have a meetup and they'll say, you know what, we're gonna go with another company. And then they come back to us and they're like, oh, that other company was not the move. And so I have looked at quite a few architects' plans and I have been quite concerned for how they are doing business. But I'm neither here nor there.
Like Argus.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. Like, that's a great thing.
Well,
Like, you want that.
And they lack a lot of information. Like we have multiple, I think there are 2 projects currently going on right now where our team has used a different architect, like the client already had their plans done or it's their dad or whatever. And genuinely, our team is struggling to execute them because they're not providing the correct information that they need to properly do construction, which is why we give these deliverables in the way that we do, because even if you don't use us, you can still execute it well. Like, we're still setting you up for success, even if you don't use our team, which is a big benefit to our design program because you're not locked in to our team. Now, do we want you to use our construction team? Absolutely. Like, that's the goal, but we're never going to force anyone's hand in that.
So I have a question about
Yes.
plans. If you're not licensed, I mean, I never would have thought of this, but if you were to use an outside GC or construction company and you have to go get permits, you don't have to have a licensed architect?
You don't have to have a licensed architect, but you do have to have stamped engineering plans. And so that's kind of what we do.
Okay.
So I'll send
I
my
didn't realize
plans.
there's a difference.
Oh, I mean, how you're not in the world? How would you know? Yeah, no problem. So what we do is we'll take the plans, I'll send them to our engineer, he'll review them, and he'll build a framing, foundation, roofing, all that plan based off of mine, and then he'll stamp those. So that's how we get around me not being a licensed architect or a licensed designer. And that would be the same for anyone using the plans, because if we're not constructing it, we're not permitting it. So I let the clients know, hey, you will need to get this engineered plans if you're going to permit this project. We have an engineer I can put you in contact with, or if you have one you'd like to use, you can just send these to him. I can provide you the drawing files you need, and you'd be good to go.
Got it.
Great question. So custom design meshes the 2 that we just talked about together. So this is design and plans all in one. And so on this sheet, I have floor plans to kind of show, this is an active project we're working on also. It's 8,000 square feet. So scary. It's giant. So we have floor plans, obviously, that are included. We have design boards that are included. And sometimes even our designer, we will create 3D renderings. She's actually gotten into like using AI for that, and it's been super cool. And so you get 2 brains for one, actually, in the custom design, which is why it's our most used service. So Lee and I are typically the one, Lee's our senior designer. We're typically the ones that are working in tandem on most of these custom design projects, where for this example, we're tearing down and building a whole new house. So we talked about floor plans. We're talking about all of the design selections, from the flooring to the trim walls, ceiling, to the grout, to the lighting, to the style of your cabinets. We're literally talking about every single thing that goes into this project all together. And a lot of the times this is the most bang for your buck because, like I said, you get 2 brains. So Lee has an idea, and then I'm like, oh, okay, but that won't work because of this. Or like, I'll have an idea, but she's like, oh, that doesn't work. Like, we get to kind of collaborate with each other and do that. It's a really great service. These typically are a little longer because there's more that goes into them, especially for bigger projects like the new build. We have done a couple of them, like a bathroom remodel that's taken us, 2 meetings and we're done. It just depends on the scope of the work. But again, all of this is priced point for the size of the project that we're doing. So this being a new build, I think this was the most expensive proposal we've ever sent out. I think it was like 20 grand, which is crazy, but we're designing an 8,000 square foot home. So, I mean, you have to think about all the time that's going into that. Our next service that we offer is furniture and decor. This one, we are like kind of ramping up a little bit more. LB is like really leading the charge on that. This is a project that she did that's literally stunning, so beautiful. What is included in furniture and decor service is design boards, like you see on that top corner. Also, she'll create, I think she does create a finish schedule for each of the pieces. And then it's kind of like a la carte style, if you will. So you could just take the design boards and the finish schedule with your furniture you selected, and you could go order that yourself and deal with the delivery and deal with the install and deal with the styling and all of that. Or you could say, hey, no, I want your team to manage this. I want your team to like come back in and style and hang my drapes and hang my art and all of that stuff. So this service is very customizable. Your client can really just say, I want the basics or I want the full thing. And that kind of depends, the pricing for that depends on what we're doing. Are we purchasing a sofa? Are we purchasing a sofa and a bed and a nightstand and mirrors and drapes and drapery rods? Like, what are we all doing? And that's kind of how that gets priced out. And this, yes.
Oh, you-
So, sorry, on that one, is there levels of like least expensive to most expensive?
It's truly just based on what you're wanting to do. So like if you're like, hey, I just need help picking out my living room furniture, then it'll say, okay, for your living room, we'll do like a sofa, a rug, some side tables, and a chair. Is that good? Do you want to add anything else? And then we'll kind of give like a budget. Like, this is how much we think all of that would cost. And then it's like, okay, great, sounds good, execute, or that's too expensive, let's dial it down. So it really just depends on what we're doing. There's not like a set pricing structure for that. Exterior refresh, this is probably like our least used service because most of the time everyone's just doing custom design or design only, but we still offer it. This is for anyone who is wanting to just facelift their exterior. Like I said, I don't want to touch anything on the inside. I just want to paint my wall or my brick and my trim and my fascia. I want some new sconces on the exterior and some new house numbers. We're like, great, here you go. And the deliverable for this is also a design board and a finish schedule. That way you can execute that. Our team also does refresh, like our construction team, if you would like us to, but again, that's not a requirement for working with our team. I figured we'd have questions, so try to do that fast. But we can go back to any of the slides and talk about any of them, whatever questions we have remaining.
Anybody online? Any questions? You can just chime in.
I love it.
This is Patty. I went to a little design class yesterday that a title company did. And what I found interesting is most people, even me included, I'm a little challenged or paralyzed whenever I want to make a big change, especially when you have to, you do have a budget and you need to use some of your existing pieces. And I thought it was kind of cool at the end of the class, they did this little quiz or test that it was like, do you like, of all the living rooms, which style do you like the best? In a living room and a kitchen. And then it kind of gave you like your overall design style. Do you guys do that too? Like to help people when they're like, well, yeah, I like French country theme, but I also like this in another room. Like, do you help so that they can kind of have some creativeness throughout the house that still is seamless?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you decide to move forward with us after you receive the game plan from LB and you're like, yeah, all of this sounds good, I want to move forward with the design team, we actually send a questionnaire. It's not like a quiz where we're like, hey, you picked B 5 times and now you're, transitional modern or whatever. It's like, hey, what do you like? Do you like farmhouse? Do you like X, Y, or Z? Most of the time people don't fill those out, to be quite honest with you. But that's okay, because at our kickoff meeting, we're asking all of those questions. So let's use the kitchen remodel again, since we've been kind of using that as an example. So we'll meet, we'll say, hey, you want to do a kitchen remodel. What do you want to do with the floors? Do you want tile? Do you want wood? Do you want engineered hardwood? If you want tile, do you want it to be large format or small format, or do you not know? Do you have no idea? Okay, that's fine. How about the counter? Do you like quartz? Do you like marble? Do you like granite? That's why we don't recommend marble, because unlike Jamie, we hate marble, but it's fine. Or we're like, hey, are you liking white open kitchens? Do you like color? What kind of colors? Do you like blue? Do you like green? Do you like mixing metals? We ask so many questions in a kickoff meeting, which really helps us understand clients' design direction, and that's why we have them. A lot of the times, clients have no idea what their style is or what they're even saying. Like, they'll be saying, oh, I really don't like farmhouse. And then you show them the ceiling and they're like, oh, I love that ceiling. And you're like, okay, well, you like farmhouse then. So sometimes we have to like guide them where they need to go. And that's one thing that Lee is actually really good at. Everyone on our team, but Lee is mostly our designer. So she does this. But what she'll do is she'll take all the notes from a kickoff meeting and she'll create her storyboards, which is like a curated Pinterest board of what we're going, what direction we're going with this design. And she'll give each and every client a specific design style based on what they've said to her, based on the images they've shared. A lot of times our clients have Pinterest photos of like what they like, what they don't like. And so we'll kind of collect all of that. And we're kind of the ones going through the quiz. We're like, okay, they said this, they said this, they said this, this is your answer. So we do have that built into our services, that our like process that we provide.
And then do you give like a, I don't know, like a 3D of how it would look all put together?
Yeah, it depends on which service we're using. A lot of times for the custom design service, what I will do is after we get to the floor plan that we're like gonna hone in on and gonna execute on, I'll send that file to Lee and she will like render it essentially. So she'll take the material she wants to use, she'll put it on that 3D, and then we'll show the clients that as an example of what it would look like. Or we'll do those AI renderings now that I showed you in that other slide. So we do offer that. It's not every single time. It's not like a given, but it really does help, because a lot of the times people have a hard time visualizing what it all looked like until you see it colored in 3D or rendered in an AI version or something like that.
Is there an additional fee for that?
Nope. Nope. If you're in a lot of times for design only, like design classic and custom design, those are kind of just happening because our designers, it helps them to like see if their vision is working properly. So if our design team decides to do them, then it's just a part of the service. Sometimes we're like, I don't really need to show this to you because it's a hallway or like, you know, something like that. A lot of the times we do provide them. It just is included. But like floor plans, you're not going to get a rendering. You would get just like a colorless 3D model. And that's, I don't think I have a picture of that on there, but I can show that to you in our next session. I think I'll kind of walk you through the project I showed you on the custom design slide, so you can see where we started versus where we are now, and like everything we've shown the client up to that point. Because I think that would be helpful to like understand the process, but you know, we were kind of short on time, so I didn't want to like bog you down with too much information. But good question.
I think showing the finish schedule would be really.
Yeah. Oh, they're intense. I wasn't sure like how in depth I should go today. But I do think that like we don't have a finished schedule for this yet because it's not done. But like I can show you the storyboards and then how we got to the design boards and then the iterations of all my floor plans, because they're kind of backtracking a little bit. But with our floor plan service, whether that's floor plans only or custom design, we provide 3 different options for every single project we're working on. So that's one thing that a lot of other architects don't do. So we're saying, I showed them this client, I showed them 3 different 3-storied houses at their first meeting. That was like our option 1 meeting is what we call it. Showed them 3 different options. And then they said, okay, now combine those options. I showed another option. So like there are probably 7 iterations of this house that we have done to get to this point. So there's a lot of work involved. So I can show you all of that process and how it works. I can also show you finished schedules from other projects that are currently in construction, so you can see what that looks like and really understand like the behemoth of that file. But yeah, I have all of that. I can show you till you're blue in the face. So this is on Chatburn in Berkeley.
That side window is fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, it is. This is actually funny because so this is based off of, can you scroll just a teeny bit?
Scroll up.
Yeah, to see that 3D view right there in the corner.
Yeah.
That is this. They're the exact same thing. So Lee took that 3D view and she generated the AI version of it. But what's funny is that before I didn't have my roof that way. But once we saw this 3D image that Lee did, me and the clients were like, that's it. That's what we're doing. Like that looks so good. And so that's kind of, again, what I was saying, you get 2 brains. You get both of us thinking about your project in such a like deep detail that we can like figure these things out.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Obviously there's a couple of things that are different because of AI, but yeah, it's we're tearing down their existing house on Chatburn and we're building this bad boy in its place. So that's going to be a good one for sure.
Thank you for coming today. Thank you for
Sure.
all the information.
Yeah, totally.
Great information. Everybody get something from that? Cool.
Sweet.
Well, thank you, Kayla. We'll see you in about 7 weeks, 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's July.
July, I think
Yeah.
we'll be back in July.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
So that's going to be our plan moving forward. Every 2 weeks, we're going to have either LB or Kayla come in. All right, bye, Patty. See ya. But they're gonna come in every 2 weeks and just share a little snippet of how they do things. The whole point of this is to get everybody here using the one-stop shop. That's why we're here. That's the benefit of what we do. Why wouldn't we be referring to the other divisions that are our brothers and sisters? So, okay. Woo, that looks really big. Hang on, I need to share this. Oh, that was fine. Okay. So MBA mortgage applications rose for the week, up 11% overall, and up 13% for conventional mortgages, which is a surprisingly strong move for people who are more apt to be newer buyers. Realtor.com says the spring housing market's in full bloom. Last week, the number of homes for sale hit its highest level since 2019, with new listings the highest since mid-2022. Seller price reductions ahead of last year. Adam, which is a data servicer, found the most active time of the year are ahead. From 2015 through 2024, June saw more than 4.7 million home sales, the most for any month, followed by August and July. So the next 3 months are our big boys. I'm sure you guys have seen all the stuff. This has even changed since Monday with tariffs being rolled back, giving a 90-day moratorium on them. So things are better. I don't know if you saw the stock market the last 2 days, but it was almost up 5% in 2 days, which is fantastic. So atmosphere got stormy for a while on Wall Street. Tariff deal with the UK, weekend talks with China. Downward pressure on equities came, blah, 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 blah. We're not going to hit all that. The national 30-year fixed mortgage rate unchanged from last week, which is actually up a little bit, but we'll hit that in a second. This week, we're seeing home building, retail sales, and inflation. Forecast for housing starts to move up in April. Building permits to slow down a little bit. April retail sales should continue to increase as the economy remains in growth mode after dipping in March. The CPI is expected to report inflation inched up a tad in April. However, that has changed and it actually went down a tad, which is good. Federal Reserve Watch, last week they were saying July at 80%. This week they're saying July at 59%. So they're saying rates are going to stay steady. Very, 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 if they move, they'll move so slightly and it probably won't affect us that much. Here's the rates for today. Over here on the right, 6.92 was yesterday at 4 o'clock when I pulled them. That's up 0.4% from last week. You can see that's up 1/10 from 2 months ago, 9 weeks ago. So they're very stable. And I'm going to tell you how to use this information here in just a minute. Facts tell, but stories sell. Don't skip on the facts when presenting to prospects, but also put together a story about how their purchase will enhance their lives. Be specific, including details they can relate to. Storytelling is a game changer, which is what we try to do here. That's kind of the point. Did you know First American Data and Analytics reported the rate of home price growth in March hit a 13-year low, up just 1.8%, noting household income growth is now outpacing house price appreciation, which is increasing affordability. Now is the time, and I'm going to show you some of those things in a second. This is a report that came out from one of my sources that I was looking at. NAR said pending home sales jumped 6% in March, which we saw here at the brokerage level. Largest month-over-month increase since December of 2023 when they rose 7%. So it took, 14 months for them to come up 6.1, and that's the biggest increase since December of 2023. Regionally in the South and West posted gains. South experienced the most significant growth. Compared to a year ago, contract signings were up in the Midwest, but declined in the Northeast, South, and the West. The pending home sales index, leading indicator of future home sales, increased to 76.5% in March, which is up 6.1% from the previous month. Lawrence Yoon said home buyers are highly responsive to even small changes in mortgage rates. While not every signed contract results in a closing, this strong uptick in pending sale signals are growing full of prospective buyers driven by steady job gains. He added, spring typically brings more activity to the housing market compared to winter. In March, non-seasonally adjusted contract signings rose 34% from February, mirroring trends seen in past years Inventory also increased 8% month over month. Mortgage rates declined 20 to 30 basis points in March compared to a year earlier. They were down from 6.96 in January and 6.8 in February, which we're back there now. But that's just because that's where we're going to be. It's going to be between 6 and 7 from now on, more than likely. Now, 1 in 4 potential buyers are waiting for rates to fall below 3%. This is a true stat. Okay. This VOM economic survey said they surveyed 2,500 people. 67% said mortgage rates are affecting their buying decisions. It's even greater among millennials and Gen Zers as they wait for rates that feel just right. Exactly what's the ideal rate? Nearly 1 in 4 respondents said mortgage rates need to drop below 3% before they'll consider purchasing or refinancing a home.
Everyone, a long time.
Another 15% want rates to be around 3%. 12% said they would consider making a purchase when they near 4. In the 2025 forecast, you said even that threshold was unrealistic. Are we going back to 4% mortgage rates? My forecast, unfortunately, is no. I think the new normal will be a 6% mortgage rate. Younger buyers may be influenced by mortgage rates. Older buyers are more likely to hold out for ultra low rates, especially people that bought over the last 4 years. They're going to hold on to that 2 and 3, 4% interest rate. They're not trading for a 6.5. Not going to do it unless they find the right house. But I'm going to give you some. I'll give you some ammunition. 9% of Gen Zers are waiting for rates to fall below 3. Only 9%. Compared with 18% of millennials, 25% of Gen Xers, and 35% of baby boomers. The older you are, the more you're waiting on the rates. Okay? Buying a home is still a key part of the American dream, but many are finding the path to home ownership tougher to navigate. According to the report, 61% of adults are less confident in their ability to own a home than they were 5 years ago. Nearly half believe they've missed my moment to buy a home. This is half the people surveyed feel like they missed their moment. So it's up to us to educate them that they didn't miss the moment. The moment is now, the next 3 months. Do you see what I did with the last report? June, July, and August are the 3 biggest. These people, 50% of the people believe they missed their moment. Their moment is the next 3 months. Maybe a little bit into the fall, we'll see. But for now, what we can tell, this next 3 months is the best opportunity for people that want to enter the housing market. First-time buyers especially, because where house prices are, how sellers are negotiable, how much inventory we got. I'm gonna hit all this in a second. I'm previewing too much. Although more Gen Zers rank home prices as a barrier to ownership than other generations, they're also the most interested in buying a home. That report noting that younger potential buyers are less content with renting than other generations. Views on a first-time purchase as a stepping stone to something bigger and better appear to be shifting. 60% of respondents are open to buying a fixer-upper. 58% said it makes no sense nowadays to invest in a starter home and upgrade later. Perspective shared fairly evenly among all generations surveyed. More than half of the survey respondents said they have no plans to buy a home in the near future. 17 expect to buy this year, 17%. The next few years could see an uptick in sales as 27% of potential buyers plan to buy a home in 2026 or later. Aspiring homeowners tend to be younger, more than half of Gen Z and millennial respondents indicating they want to buy in the near future, compared with 35% of Gen Xers and only 13% of baby boomers. I went and pulled.
Thank you.
So we'll be talking, so you know who the people we're talking about are. This report, when you guys please go back and look at this in the brokerage announcements, go back through these 4 slides, because this tells you who your target audience is based on this survey. These are the people that you should be going, that person is the person I need to be hitting harder with my email drip campaigns. Now, I gave you all of that. Now I'm going to tell you how to do it. What you need to be doing for your clients. This, believe it or not, is AI. I actually put into my AI and said, how could a realtor get potential buyers off the fence. What are the talking points that today's realtor would need to have? This will all be in my slides. There'll be a link in the channel. Emphasize the increased inventory and buyer leverage. More choice, less frenzy right now. Great negotiating power with sellers. A shift towards a more balanced market. Address mortgage rates and affordability. Rates are stable, potential moderation by the end of this year. Marry the house, date the rate. We've been saying that for 2 years. Lenders are offering refis. That's a great point for you to have a buyer conversation with. Lock in before potential future increases. If demand surges due to lower rates, prices and competition could increase quickly. That's that wave that we've been talking about forever.
Forever, yeah, this is, to me, nothing new.
This wave, when it breaks, it's going to be fast. And the people that are sitting around going, "Oh, I just want to wait for rates to go down a little bit lower." Well, if they do that, they risk that wave coming in.
I had my first buyer that I got under contract in Argyle say that, the first time home buyers, and they said, "We're not going to wait anymore."
Yep.
Like they had been waiting. So I felt like that was, a good indication that, first time home buyers and people are like, it's not going to get any better. Like we've just.
I feel like that's the move.
Yeah.
It is the move. Yeah, I've seen it too.
Yep. So highlight long-term benefits of homeownership, build equity and wealth, stability, personalization. Not, you can't personalize a rental. That's just the way it is. And you hedge against inflation because you've got equity in the market at that point. Focus on current market nuances, slower price appreciation, easier to get into the market right now. The pent-up demand, getting into the market for the wave. Giving strategic advice. Financial readiness is key. Understand motivation. That's storytelling. Why do you want to move? New construction. Tariffs could and will affect construction. Buying now could save a buyer big bucks.
That's a good point.
Here are your talking points. While mortgage rates aren't at their historic lows, they have stabilized, and some forecasts suggest they may ease slightly by year end. More importantly, we're seeing more homes on the market, giving you more choice and negotiating power than buyers have had in recent years. True. Home prices are still generally appreciating, meaning you'll start building equity sooner. If rates do fall significantly later, you'll likely be able to refinance, but you can't go back in time to get today's price. Have you guys seen the appraisals that are coming in? Every appraisal that I've gotten for my buyers over the last month and a half, we're walking into $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 of equity because we're buying the house below market value.
I told you about mine.
Well, how much was it?
133,000. Over.
The appraisal came in 133 over what she paid for it.
We contracted for 881 and it came in at $1 million. I'd have
It
to
was
look.
originally listed at 9 something.
Yeah, 970. I
You didn't show
negotiated.
that to the listing agent, did you?
I did not.
No,
No, man.
but after you close, it's like, hey,
Yeah. Well, and it was my attorney client, so I was like,
there you go.
yes.
Okay, last three here.
You should get referrals for that.
I know.
Many
I'm working on it, Jana.
Many sellers are now open to negotiating on price and terms. This is a significant shift that can work in your favor. Consider the long-term financial benefits of owning a home. It's a proven path to wealth creation. Instead of paying rent, you're investing in your future. Telling my 20-year-old son this almost daily now. If you're financially comfortable and plan to stay in the home for several years, now can be a very good time to buy, especially with less competition than we might see if rates drop further. So all five of those are great opening lines to get somebody talking about what this market can bring them. At this point, this is the time. I'm not kidding. This is the time. I've never seen a more apt time in my entire career as a realtor.
That's a huge statement.
I've never seen more ripeness on the vine, more chance for somebody to get the house they want at a price they can afford. Yes, they're higher than they were 10 years ago. They're going to be higher 3 years from now. And now's the time. Now, I know we have a very diverse culture here at Sixth Ave. So I created this little section that's called News You Can Use. Stuff that you may or may not have heard about what's going on in our market. Legislators appear to be on track to boost the state's homestead exemption, which lowers the amount of home's value that can be taxed for public schools. Senate Bill 4 from State Senator Paul Betancourt case Republican would raise the exemption from 100,000 to 140. Okay. Combined with the $3 billion in cuts to school taxes proposed in the state's upcoming 2-year budget, the owner of a home valued at 302 in 2024 would have saved more than $500 on their 2024 school taxes. Older Texans and Texans with disabilities get additional breaks under Senate Bill 23, which would raise a separate homestead exemption for those homeowners from $10,000 to $60,000. That means they would see a total homestead exemption of $200,000. That's a
Older
big
Texans, how old do you have to be?
62,
Dang it.
65.
65 or 62?
I think 65.
Dang it.
I know,
So close.
we're getting there. All of us are getting there. We're getting there quick. Each proposal has passed out of the Senate. Lawmakers on the House Ways and Means Committee, which writes tax policy, voted Monday to advance the bills to the full House. There's actually more than that. There was, I don't know if you guys saw the email from TXR, from the Texas Cultures. It was about this long, and I started to put it in here. It's just way too much information for this meeting, but there is a lot of stuff going through Austin and through Washington right now. There's some national level stuff going on that could affect our taxing here in Texas. So, but it's not law, so it hasn't happened yet. It's kind of like when we went to the NRR settlement. I could tell you what I thought was going to happen, but until I see it in writing, lying. It's speculation. Did you see this? 2 buildings on 7th Street in downtown Fort Worth will be redeveloped into residential units. One will be converted into a 330-unit apartment building. Another is converted into a 100-unit senior housing development. A total of 430 residential units will be added to affordable housing and better building usage in Fort Worth. How about Mansfield? The city has begun to redesign the design process for the Reserve, a $1 billion mixed-use district. 210-acre project is in a public-private partnership, includes a new city hall, half-mile canal loop, 6-acre lake, boardwalk plaza, walkable layout with a full pedestrian network, green spaces, and multiple neighborhoods. There's also going to be hotels, restaurants, offices, blah, 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 blah. Roughly $800 million in public and private funds has already been invested. Construction is set to begin later this year. UT Arlington is putting a $600 million campus on the west side of town. This is the University of Texas Arlington. First set of buildings will be on the northern parcel, include 5 buildings with 930,000 square foot and 1,500 parking spaces. Blah, 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 blah. It's a 51-acre development. 4 more buildings are possible in the southern parcel. And UTUS is expected to open to students by the fall of 2028.
That's why I invest in that area.
Is that the one off of 30?
I just
Yeah.
keep talking to my client.
It's right at the split of 20 and 30.
Like in 30.
Arlington Highlands Shopping Center, they are putting in $30 million renovation of the Arlington Highlands Shopping Center. The partnership purchased with a 20-year-old development in 2011. First phase increased walkability, added 48,000 of public park and pathways. The new phase of renovation will begin being wayfinding signage, additional park amenities, and property upgrades by the end of 2025. Lake Granbury is putting in 47-acre mixed-use project next to Lake Granbury, have a Marriott branded Spring Hill Suites, hotel, restaurants, apartments, large park, and townhomes. Community will have 288 apartments and 200 units for people 55 and older. I'm Lake Granbury. Green, golf cart, pickleball courts. Construction is expected to cost about $28 million and should take 12 to 14 months.
That area is, oh my gosh.
It's a blowout. It is. It's so cool.
And I got an email last week from a couple people asked about senior living and senior housing. I got an email last week that I saved it because they've got like 7 subdivisions across the metroplex. So they're building more. The builders are catching up with what's going on.
Yeah, I need more.
Come on, Ansel. Unmute.
Hey, it was me. Can you please email me that?
Yes,
Thank you.
I can send that. Actually, Angela, send me an email send me the senior living thing, because I'll forget. I'm just telling you I'm going to forget. Because I have a lot to do on
Because
Wednesday.
he's older, 55.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to list a house in Salma Ridge as soon as we get down here. So, everybody, questions? Did you like today's information?
Yes, that was great.
Great meeting.
Okay,
As usual.
good, good. Well, I encourage you guys to please read Monday. I try to put as much information in there and as links as I can. I usually start on that, like my Monday email that comes out, I start today. And I work every day for a little while, putting links, finding things for you guys to read. The Goodreads section that's usually at the bottom there. I try to put something that's worth your time to read. I mainly do it for you, to be honest with you, because you always say, hey, that was a good read. I like that. That's why that section is there. It's for
And
you.
I'm like, so I'm not a great reader. It has to be good for me. Otherwise, I'm like, oh.
But all the links are always there. You know, the business cards, the email template, the one that spins and does all that stuff.
I tried that. I can't get that to work.
Watch the video, the instructions go along with it and do it step by step.
I did. I did mine,
It doesn't-
but I did it on my
It
own.
doesn't,
It will when you have to export it as a GIF. That's the key. That's the key. That's the key.
Did it work for you?
I just can't figure out Canva. I think I messed up the first time I got to this and now I'm scared.
Yeah, well, we can do that. I mean, if you guys want to talk about that sometime offline out of this meeting, I'll do a Google Meet and we can walk through it. We can do it virtually. I don't mind doing that and showing you what I did, because literally I'm like the least Canva friendly person here, I promise. And I was able to get it done. So,
All right, I'm gonna try.
I think that's everything for today. Anybody online have any questions, comments? Brian, you still got mail here. It's been here for like a month and a half. It's probably just a thank you card, but come by the office sometime. We'd love to see you. We'd love to see all of you in person if you guys ever get a chance to come by. And sorry we didn't have breakfast today. First time that's ever happened since I've been here.
So they didn't show up.
They didn't call, hadn't texted, nothing. And I talked to the guy on the phone yesterday. So maybe something happened. I don't know.
Crazy.
But next week, we've got James Cade, Roofing and Solar will be coming in. I've got a full schedule for the summer with a whole bunch of different people. A couple of regular people, you know, Highland Homes will just come bring us $500 worth of breakfast. So y'all better be here for Highland Homes. I'm just telling you.
Highland Homes is $500 every night at least. Like, yeah, I see those.
Yeah.
Like,
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, yeah, y'all
I'm
come.
hungry.
yeah.
I think that's everything. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us and being on time this morning. Appreciate you. See you in the funny papers.